My mother is a healer at the White Eagle Spiritualist Lodge. No, it's not a spiritualist lodge. It's just a lodge. They're not allowed, spiritualism. No, they're not supposed to have spirit guides or past lives. Past lives, they've of course all been Mary Queen of Scots and or Edward the Seventh. Cathars is another one. They're Cathars. So with the claustrophobia passed down through their lives, they howl on the Piccadilly line. And spirit guides, my mother, although she's not supposed to, she has a nun. They all have a nun. And of course, an indigenous Indian. You have to call them that nowadays, like Rhodesia and transgender, not sex change anymore, and SIF. And she's traced her other spirit guide because it was bothering her. She would just be wandering around the East End and would hear coughing. And so I was having my pack. It's easier just to be my mother, not talk about her. I was having my packed lunch. I had a bit of chicken in foil. And I'd wandered further than usual. And I was sitting with my back to St. Bart's Hospital. And I heard the coughing there. But I think it's because possibly it's like a haunt of psychic energy. The St. Bart's, because it's been there for a long time, and it's down the years. And I could trace the coughing, and I got that it was in a street between Spitalfields and beyond Liverpool Street Station. And I got that she was called Mary Ann Higgins, guiding me, and she did die of cholera. Good, we're glad we sorted that out. And I tell you about this spiritualist lodge because when I was doing my second round of singing auditions for the Royal Northern, don't worry about that, they said I was ebullient, bravo, but bugger off. But I had one in London, that's important. And I had the usual nervous sore throat, except my mother, I saw it descend on you. You were being driven down somewhere in the country by somebody, and it descended an entity. And this entity, it did latch, onto your vocal cords. Oh, for the love of God, no, it didn't. Latched onto your vocal cords. It was a scarf come goiter. But we did decide that I would go to Joan at the lodge for healing on this scarf come goiter that, And she said, my mother, you must go to the lodge. Joan must not spend her good money on the tube coming to 88 Ward Point. She can't afford it. But she so wants to help the souls that she will be fully peripatetic if you'll let her. Also, do not let her give you any of her packed lunch. She can't afford that either. And do not let her go into a trance and give you a psychic reading. I tell you for why, because she did tell a lot of people the same thing, that they got a grandfather on the astral plane who's just got a new job. And his new job is bedding in the perennials in the children's garden, for the children's souls who've passed over, premature. And we just say to her, Joan, because we'd a year back, Joan, no. On the astral plane, there are no bodily functions, Joan. And so if the grandfather, shared by many, has got this new job and he's bedding in these hardy perennials, what, with no bodily functions, is he doing for manure? But apparently, ladies and gentlemen of watching this, there's a serious side to this because Joan's real father in the 1940s, you've got to say that now, 1940s, he'd had a job in a park and he got done for kiddie fiddling. So, what are we not doing? We're not letting Joan come to 88 Ward Point, didn't do that, went to the lodge, wisteria. We are not letting Joan give us any of our packed lunch, and we're not letting her go, well, we planned not to do that, but we get in the consulting room with Joan, and she immediately opens some Tupperware and she gives me 2 rice cakes with shrimp paste, and then and she's Northern Light, she's got a nice, quite Northern voice, and she said to me, I'm so sorry, I could have come to Ward Point and seen you, I could have done. She's got a pen on a rope and she's ringing the pen on the rope. She said, I'm a bit of a tiz today, in a past life, my husband was Charles II. So we're in the consulting room anyway, and she's going and breathing in. I thought, God, shall I call somebody? Is she going to table tap? And dear child of light. I didn't do that. Remember, I didn't. I can't stop her, can I? You've got to say, oh no, she's in the tribe. She's off in the tribe. She's out. And she does indeed tell me that I've got the grandfather in the astral plane doing the job, the plants and everything. But she also tells me, Joan, that I will audition in more than one place. And she tells me I will know where my base is because somebody has lost their fingers. I did my audition at Guildhall. I got called for an interview with the principal. He demurred, giving me his right hand, gave me his left hand to shake. And I looked, and on his right hand, he had lost 2 fingers.